All right, welcome back to capitalcompetent.com. Today, I put some slides together showing what to do when I might be wrong, right? When you are entering a trade or you're entering investment, you could be wrong. It's just as simple as that. And what brought me to this is I was going through my account, right, my day trading account, and these positions right here stood out, right? This is like $1,600 that I'm down, right? And this was in a day. So I woke up and I looked at my account, and these positions right down were $1,600 down. Okay, what do I do? Right? It's a it's a knee-jerk reaction. You see red, you see loss, right? What do? Well, the first thing you do is you understand you will be wrong sometimes. It's just as simple as that. If you want to play this game, if you want to invest, if you want to research, if you want to do companies, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's just like playing basketball, right? I risk losing to win. If I go and compete, right? Someone's going to lose, someone's going to win. Now, if you play the game long enough, just like basketball, you'll start pick up little tricks. You'll get a crossover, you'll get a shot fake. Same thing in investment. You'll understand market sentiment. You'll understand the underlying business. You'll understand the big players. You'll understand what your next door neighbor is thinking. Is he selling? Is he buying? And then you'll pick up these things and you'll get a lot better. But the first thing you need to understand and the first thing you need to do always is be humble. Understand that you will be wrong sometimes. Now, it's not about, you know, it's not about how many times you're wrong. It's understanding that you will and taking the right actions. And that's this way of thinking. What will happen if I'm wrong? If I buy this put, I'm giving someone $4,100 for the option to sell Netflix at 800. Today, that $4,100 pinned to this investment is worth 3,400, right? Some people will say I was wrong. Am I? We'll see. How do I protect myself if the market moves against me? There's many ways to do it. With this Netflix one, you look at this big scary number, minus 20%. That's not what I lost. I used a hedge. I had two hedges actually. Two calls that exploded and doubled their value, so I was only down 300. I made $200 on the first one and I made like 180 on the second one. So this is really says 300, 350. So it doesn't hurt as bad. And my conviction is still there. And the last one, when is it time to cut my losses? When is it time to say, yep, I was wrong, time to go back to the drawing board? This is just a theoretical thing. This is just an idea. This is a conceptualize. I can go into actual strategies later, but this is just to build your way of thinking so that you understand what you're getting into. So the more educated you are, the better you are at things. So let's just get into this conceptual. It's how I do it. I could be wrong. You never know. The first thing you need to think about is what will happen if I'm wrong? How much will I lose? Is it worth it? Understand exactly how much risk you are taking with every investment. I know that I put up this much money and that this could completely disappear. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No. It's going to happen slowly over time. Or if Netflix goes to 1500, which I don't think it's going to, I can give my breakdown on this and why I made this investment. But understand exactly what you are risking and understand why. I think Netflix is overpriced, even with everything that they're doing, even with their outstanding earnings that they just posted. I think they're overvalued, and I think that the whole market going down will punish high value stocks, even in the rosy, amazing picture that they just provided. They just smashed earnings. They're getting into advertisements. I mean, they are killing it, but you can pay too much. And I think people are paying too much. And we'll see if I'm right. So I understood how much I'm risking. I understood why I'm doing it. And I understand that it is not guaranteed to make money. I've done really well this year shorting high earning, or excuse me, high PE stocks. And because we have some waters, we're getting into choppy waters, and those companies are going to be punished the most because people are going to scale back and think they are not in abundance anymore. So they're going to go into a scarcity mindset and they're going to start budgeting, right? We're not just throwing money willy-nilly anymore. We're kind of getting back to the drawing board. We got a little bit too excited. Now we're getting back. But understand that it's not guaranteed. There's so many moving parts in the market and so many things day to day that you simply cannot predict. And you see that with tweets, with news breaking, with market sentiment. Sometimes it just does not make sense. Or sometimes an announcements will pop up that you just simply cannot predict. That's going to happen sometimes. And you have to understand that. And you have to be ready for that. And the last one, this is something that I still struggle with. Don't be afraid to be wrong. I've done so well this year that I'm scared to lose my gains. Now but the funny thing is, my last video where I was up 55%, I'm up 66 now. And that's down from the 74 I hit 2 days ago. When I hit that all time, I beat my previous account record and I was so scared of going back down. And when I went back down, I was still higher than I was a month ago. So do not be afraid to be wrong. My biggest lessons have come from my losses. Do not be afraid. And I'll show you how to help with that. How do I protect myself if the market moves against me? There are always ways to protect your money when you are wrong. It won't completely cover your entire thing, but it will help considerably. I don't know if that grammar was correct there. I'm not going to edit it now, though. We're just going to look at it. You can make fun of me if you like. This is what I'm currently doing. Hedging your position with a put, or a call in this case. This is a long-term put. I think it will come close to 850, maybe 800 before September 19th, and that will exponentially grow the value of this one. Now, when you're dealing with options, they are leveraged, so it can go against you, like I've seen, minus 440 in a day. But I hedged it with a call, a cheap call that could expire. It was only like $300. But as the market rose and this value fell, that one doubled exponentially. So that $200 turned to $400, and I was able to sell that and take a profit while still keeping my bet open. Then it went back up again, and I did the same thing. And I'm just going to churn and churn until I think that this is not going to happen. And it will cover most of the cost. I might only lose, this says minus 700, the most I might lose is 400. Now, if it goes the other way, if I'm right and Netflix goes to 800, that $200 that you paid for that call, you don't care because this is turned into 3 grand plus. It's an insurance. It's a way, especially if you're doing what I'm doing, it's a way to cover you when you are wrong, not completely. It's like an insurance. It's an insurance policy, right? To help you give back so you can find your next one. The goal of the game is not to strike out. Never put all your eggs in one basket because if you drop that basket, you're out of the game. And then you're going to go back to the drawing board and you got to work all that way back to where you are. The next one, dollar cost average over time. If you're a long-term investment, which is in my other accounts, sometimes you're going to overpay, sometimes you're going to underpay. But it doesn't matter if you do the same thing over time, America will continue to be the strongest nation for the foreseeable future. Even with all this stuff, America will be the strongest nation. So I would put $100 every week, put it in an S&P 500 and just do it. Sometimes you're going to overpay. Like in January, you were overpaying. Uh, 2 weeks ago, you might have been underpaying. But I guarantee you, in 5 years, it will be over $600. So today, it's on sale, right? Dollar cost average over time and don't completely jump in to the market. And then the last one is when you're dealing with risky investments is take advantage of cheap alternatives, right? I think this one is one of my most risky investments. Elf Beauty. It's trading at 50 bucks right now. But this was so cheap, right? It could hit $200. There is a way. It's a very small percentage, but I'm willing to pay the 440 because if this goes to 200, this is going to 10x. And I'm willing to take that. I'm willing to pay the $440 for that chance. Now, if you if you had a slight chance to win that, and I could always sell it, and then my loss is only 200. I'll take that. I'll take that bet. If it's wrong, who cares? My other investments will do well. But if it's right, oh my gosh. I mean, that's just printing. I can go into these more if you'd like. Specific things that I do, actual executions, actual scenarios. I'll show exactly how I do it. Just ask. That's what I'm here for. Last one. When is it time to cut your losses? Sometimes there is a point where your conviction will change and you won't be as confident. As soon as your conviction changes, just get out. It's not worth your mental toll. It's just not. I'll say it one more time. As soon as your conviction is gone, cut your losses. And understand when you take a loss, it's not over. Don't just move on. There's a knowledge gap. When you take a loss, rigorously analyze why you lost money. Sometimes it's something you can't control. Sometimes something happened. The game is rigged sometimes. You're playing a rigged game sometimes. There are people with more money, more control, more power, more manpower. Sometimes, I mean, I can't compete with these big banks. I only have a limited supply of money, and it's only me and some friends, but that's it. I mean, you're competing with banks that have tens of thousands of people at their disposal. So sometimes you can't control it. Look at it. Look at what you did. Look at your process. Was it a gap in your knowledges? That's funny. Was it a gap in your knowledge? As you continue to grow, it's an ever evolving process. I know there are things that I have not yet to understand. I know I'm going to reach challenges and barriers that I need to break through. I know I'm going to encounter situations that I have not encountered before. When you take a loss, understand if it was a gap in your knowledge because you need to know, did I miss something? If it if you did miss something, now you know, and I guarantee you that lesson is worth way more money than what you have lost. I can prove it with myself. Just this year, up 66%. Do you think that's because, I mean, how do you think that happened? It happened because I lost so much money. Now that I can physically pin a numerical value to my knowledge, right? Being so far in the red to being so far in the green, I want to give that to you. Okay? I don't know what this is doing again, but always take advantage of cheap alternatives. I mean, I'll look at this. I think this one was cheap. Oh no, this one. This one was so cheap. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm just pouncing on that. You're telling me you're giving me the option to buy this 13 bucks in 2 years? What? I'll take that. Please. Please give me that. Always look at what you got. This is the only one I'm starting to lose conviction in. This one right here, which I have hedged, so I think I made 100 and something dollars. So it would be a considerable loss. It'd be $400 loss. This one is the only one because I don't think we're going to get back to here before the year ends. If this said 27, I'd be a lot more confident because we'd had a lot more time for things to play out. But I think this year is going to be really rough for everyone. But then again, could be wrong. But I will say this, you have to understand you will be wrong sometimes. You need to know what will happen if I am wrong, how do I protect myself, and when is it time to cut my losses. And I promise you, if you rigorously analyze everything you do and improve day by day, you will become a good investor. You will start seeing 66% year to date. These are barriers that you have to break. These are knowledge gaps that you have to fill. I could be wrong. There are gaps in my knowledge. I understand that. But we all have to grow as humans. And I want you to not go through what I went through. Okay? Thank you for listening to this little rant. If you want, go ahead and leave a comment what you think, right? Maybe I could be completely wrong. You never know, right? I really appreciate that guy last time asking me, challenging me on my ideas, asking me if I was wrong, asking me to further explain in the comments. I appreciate you, dude. Always look to improve. Okay? Check the website for more information. Subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and I'll see you guys next time.